God lets you lose your job. Because God is the source, not your job. Your job is a resource. But God is the source. Start relying on a resource like it's the source. The source is going to take the resource. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, or the beasts of the field, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Now, I will do this. Let me get into this really quickly. If you notice, he gave them dominion over. He gave them dominion over 4 things. Your God is a God of numbers. God does not use numbers happenstance. Numbers are very precise with God. The number 4 in the Bible deals with God's creative work in his creation. The number 4 deals with the material world. So whenever you deal with 4, you deal with the world, the material world. Okay, why? Because there's 4 corners of the earth. North, east, west, south. Did you just catch that? The first letters. North, N, east, E, west, W, south. Spells what? News. He said, preach the gospel to the 4 corners of, preach the gospel, preach the good news. Wow. It's already in the corners.
That is so awesome.
4, there are 4 elements: earth, wind, water, fire. The 5th element, which we cannot control, is light. Why is it the 5th element? Because it's given by grace. Number 5 deals with the number of grace. Okay. So when you deal with the number 4, you deal with the material world. So what does he do? He gives them dominion over 4 things. Now, unfortunately, what many of us don't catch is this is just not natural dominion. Over the fish of the sea deals with the depth. Over the fowl of the air. Now, you gotta watch this, If we look back at Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. But we wrestle not against, with King James Version, but we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Okay, watch this. But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, and against, 4. Go back to the Genesis 1:26 now. Go back to Genesis. Your God is not haphazard now. 4 things he gave you to rule over the spiritual world, because 4 things he gave you to rule over the natural world. Someone say, I have dominion. Say, grace gave it to me.
Grace gave it to me.
All right, so what grace gave me was dominion over the fish of the sea. What grace gave me was dominion over the fowl of the air. Now, the fish of the sea, because of its depth, watch this. We have actually been able to explore more of space than we have understood the bottom of the ocean. So the ocean is still a mystery to us and hidden. Therefore, this represents the rulers of darkness. Because the bottom of the ocean has darkness that even we cannot penetrate. It's the rulers of darkness. He wasn't just giving him natural dominion. The fowls of the air is spiritual wickedness in. Amen. So he was giving him, when he gave him this natural dominion, he was giving him spiritual dominion simultaneously. All right, someone say grace did it.
Grace did it.
So grace gave me dominion. You don't earn dominion from God. Grace gave it to me, and grace empowered me. Now, watch Paul pick this up and talk from another angle with this. Let's go back to the Amplified Version a moment, and let's go back to 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, with the Amplified Classic. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. I want you to hear how Paul puts this regarding grace, what grace does. And I love the way the Amplified puts it, because what it's going to convey to you is that grace is an enabler. Grace enables push you to do what you should not be able to do. There's no way I should be able to stand up against spiritual forces. But grace says, after I'm done with you, you will not only be able to stand up against them, but you will have them. Someone lift your hands and tell them thank you. All right, so 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Listen to the Apostle Paul talk about this for a moment. He says, but he said to me, my grace, my favor, my loving kindness, my mercy is enough for you. Everyone shout, grace is enough.
Grace is enough.
You have to start believing that grace is enough. So even when I don't have enough money, as long as I have enough grace, grace is enough to meet my need.
Hallelujah.
Someone say thank you. Grace is enough. So he says, but he said to me, my grace, my favor, my loving kindness, my mercy is enough for you, sufficient against any danger. Listen to this. What does grace do? It enables you to bear the trouble manfully. Grace gives me the ability to become a spiritual adult, to handle the difficulty like a spiritual adult. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Someone say grace is an enabler. So he says grace enables me to bear the trouble manfully for my strength. And you must understand, grace is the giver of all gifts. That means when you talk about God's strength, that means grace had to give you God's strength. For my strength, he said, my strength and power make perfect, fulfilled, completed, and show themselves most effective when? So if you don't understand that God is purposely allowing things to overwhelm you, to make you weak, so that his strength, divine strength, can be made completed, fulfilled in you, that's being given by grace. Because as long as you're so strong and can hold out so long, grace can help you. It's when you're weak and say, I can't do it. But you are my strength. You are my source. You are my answer. You are my help. Somebody lift your hand and tell God, you're my help. My help comes from the Lord. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven. Thank God for grace. Thank God for grace. It said, for my strength, my power made perfect, fulfilled, complete, and show themselves most effective in your weakness. Therefore, I will all the more gladly glory in my weaknesses and infirmities, that the strength and power of the Christ, the Messiah, listen to this, may rest, yes, may pitch a tent over and dwell upon me. Did you hear that? When I am weak and depleted, then the strength of God is like a tent pitched over me, protecting my mind and my emotions. But you don't find that strength until you first become weak. That's why a lot of you are having trouble. You're too strong. You're too strong. You used to be the strong one in the family. You see everybody relying on you. You don't know how to become weak. You see weakness as something that's a dirty word. But you've got to understand weakness is the pathway to power. All right, Paul's going to get into it deeper. Go to verse 10. Go to verse 10 so you can see it a bit deeper. Paul's going to get into it a bit deeper. Paul said, for the sake of Christ, I am well pleased. I take pleasure in what? Firmly speaks of weaknesses, frailties, sicknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions. Oh, watch this, watch this. I take, this don't even make sense to the flesh. I rejoice over perplexities. Perplexity, things that perplex you, things you don't understand, things that confuse you, things you can't find answers to. He said, I rejoice when I'm in those positions. Frustrates most of y'all. You ready to slap somebody? He said, I rejoice that God let me be found in a place where I don't have answers. I understand you don't want to shout. It's all right. I understand. Well, why am I rejoicing? Listen to what he goes on to say. For when I am weak in human strength, then am I truly strong, able, powerful in divine strength. He had to let me get emptied out of human strength so he could pour into me. And the more emptied out I am, is the more divine strength I can hold. Somebody lift your hand and say, Lord, fill me up. Fill me up with divine strength. This is coming by grace. This is coming by grace. Fill me up with your divine strength. This is coming by grace. Grace gives this. Say amen. Amen. All right, so Paul's explaining to us, and I want you to see that grace was all throughout the Old Testament. Now, that's what you have to understand. The difference between grace in the Old Testament and the New Testament is that grace was much more selective. Grace wasn't for everybody in the Old Testament. Grace was more selective. It pinpointed different individuals and gave them gifts that it did not give to everyone else.
Right. Amen.
All right? I can tell by your faces you'd like to see another example. So, okay. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 3. And let's start at verse 10. It's 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 10. We can be in the Amplified. 1 Samuel chapter 3 and verse 10. God's going to speak to Samuel. Now, theologians say Samuel was approximately 10 years of age when God came and stood by his bed. Now, do you understand? God's not doing this with everybody in Israel.
Right.
God picked one person out of a nation and gave him grace and did something with him that he was not doing with others. Grace was much more selective in the Old Testament.
Right.
It's not grace was absent in the Old Testament, it's that grace was much more selective.
Amen.
So what happens when the Lord came and stood and called his other time, Samuel, Samuel, then Samuel answered, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. So God comes, speaks to Samuel. Samuel's approximately 10 years of age. God starts conveying to Samuel what he's going to do. A 10-year-old boy. Because God was calling this boy to become a prophet. Now go to verse 21. Verse 21. And hear what he's saying. Verse 21. In fact, back up to verse 20. Verse 20, please. And here. And all Israel from Dan to Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. All right, verse 21. And the Lord continued to appear in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh through the word of the Lord. 22. Oh, excuse me, yes, let's start with verse 4. You know what? Back me up to verse 19 first before I hit this one. Back me up to verse 19. I've got to add this way. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and let what? Now this is grace. When anything you say, God does. See, God wasn't doing this with everybody. See, grace is the giver of gifts. Grace gave this to Samuel. Sovereignty selected Samuel. Grace gave to Samuel what sovereignty said Samuel should have, which was the office of the prophet, so that whatever he said, God did it. Someone said that's grace. No one earns that from God. How do you earn that from God? All right, that's given to you by grace. So I want you to know this. I want you to see this now, because we have too much of this understanding that grace does not exist in the Old Testament. If grace didn't exist,